Man buys a $2 photo in an antique shop and is floored when he sees who's in it. He had to purchase the photo, so he reached for his wallet just as the man loaded the last few boxes. But he only had $2. He asked to buy the little box of old photos, and thankfully the man accepted his small payment, thinking nothing of this seemingly regular box. Randy had to go home and tell Linda about his purchase. Neither of them could expect what would happen. Randy presented Linda with the 3 pictures. "How much did this cost you?" she asked. She looked closer and was astonished. "You do realize who this is?" And then Randy saw it too. That unmistakable face was staring back at him with its eerie gaze. If Linda was right, this photo would be worth millions based on the person's historical fame. Linda and Randy arranged a meeting with a local historian to inspect the faces in the photographs. The historian said that the pictures were from the 19th century. Randy wasn't surprised as the images were clearly dated. Then Linda pointed to the man standing in the middle of the group, and people gathered in the photograph and whispered, "Billy the Kid." The amazing photo was from the year 1878, and Billy the Kid was a very well-known figure. Billy the Kid is one of the most well-known figures of the American Wild West. His real name was William Bonney. He was one of the most wanted men in Arizona after being involved in multiple homicides. An outlaw, he managed to outrun the sheriffs and escape multiple prisons over 4 years until he was eventually shot dead at the age of 21. He was famous among cowboy fanatics, but there was only one authentic photo of him ever found, until now. Randy made sure to do his research. He discovered that the last original photograph of Billy was bought by collector Bill Koch at an auction in 2011 for $2.3 million. But with no proof of who the photographer had been and the circumstances around the photo, Linda and Randy had no proof that it was genuine. They were determined to find proof and see how much this incredible photo was worth, and the amount was going to be unbelievable. Many collectors didn't believe that the photograph was genuine, and Randy and Linda knew they had to do some more digging into the history of the photograph before they showed their findings to the public. Over the course of the year, they'd gotten different opinions from experts, but some were skeptical. But when they finally took the photo to Witherell's Old West show in Northern California's Grass Valley, their hearts dropped. Linda and Randy's photograph got the attention of Jeff Aello, who was a local film and TV producer. He knew a good story when he saw one. He knew that the experts who had examined the photo had only given it a passing glance before hastily calling it a fraud. He wondered, what if they were all wrong? He said to Randy, "Let me have the picture. My wife Jill is a fantastic researcher." Randy and Linda were lucky to have caught the eye of Aello. Aello said, "We did photo overlays and all kinds of fancy computer stuff and dove into the history. After a month, we were both confident that that was a photo of Billy and 4 of the regulators. Now, Randy and Linda just had to prove it to the world. They'd never expect which company would catch its attention and bring their story to millions of people worldwide." National Geographic decided to join forces. They took on the $1 million project with Aello at the wheel, and they were able to conduct further research to prove that the photograph was genuine. They were making a 2-hour National Geographic documentary called Billy the Kid: New Evidence, and land Kevin Costner as the narrator. Aello wanted to place Randy's fight against the corrupt process of authenticating historic material at the forefront. Randy and Linda went out to visit all the known landmarks associated with Billy the Kid. One of the individuals in the photo had been identified as Sally Chisholm, which they managed to find an 80% match to on facial recognition software. They also found the breakthrough they'd all been waiting for in Sally Chisholm's diary. Randy and Linda had traveled 10,000 miles over 4 states. They needed to make one last stop, hoping it would be the jackpot. All clues pointed to Turnstall's ranch because Sally Chisholm's diary mentioned that she, the regulators, and Billy the Kid himself had gathered there. Randy and Linda got to the ranch and stared in disbelief at the familiar landscape. Randy really believed with all his heart that Billy the Kid had been there. With the help of geographic mapping, the exact location where the photo was shot was finally found. Randy and Linda, feeling that they'd finally won the battle, returned to California. The 2-hour National Geographic documentary Billy the Kid: New Evidence featured interviews with experts and used facial recognition on Randy's photograph against existing images of Billy the Kid, as well as placing his geographic position at the time and identifying the antique croquet set in the photograph. Randy and Linda already felt so lucky to have figured out the photo was real, but they still didn't know its worth. An auction house in California agreed to help Randy sell his photos. More importantly, they set the base price at $5 million. Thanks to National Geographic, their instincts were proven to be correct, and their journey was made worth it. And now they know the worth of the historical photo.